Under the command of Genghis Khan, the Mongolian cavalry is considered one of the most powerful military forces in history. Not only is their achievement stunning, it's also incredibly fast. In just 25 years, the Mongolian cavalry completed conquests that far exceeded those of the Roman Empire. While it took the Romans 500 years to reach their peak, the Mongols conquered 5 times as much territory in a short time. This amazing efficiency and scope is truly astonishing. Wherever the Mongol cavalry went, their speed and cruelty were terrifying. Their Blitzkrieg tactics are relentless and show no signs of slowing down. They are not only a force, they are masters of strategy and tactics. Their conquests swept across Eurasia like a storm, spawning countless legends, place in history, and will be remembered forever. So how many people did the Mongols have? Their total population was about 1 million, with an army of just over 100,000. Now, compare that to their enemies. The Jin dynasty had 50 million, the Southern Song had 70 million, and the Quarezmian Empire had 50 million. Their armies were 5 times larger than the Mongols. The Mongol cavalry was known for its incredible speed and mobility. When the Russians first encountered them, they were stunned by how the Mongols appeared out of nowhere, attacked swiftly, and then vanished. This lightning-fast warfare predated even the German Blitzkrieg, with Mongol forces capable of covering up to 80 kilometers a day without the need for modern fuel. The Mongol army's success was largely due to their logistical expertise. While historical figures like Napoleon and Hitler failed to conquer Russia, Genghis Khan achieved what they could not. Each warrior managed up to 18 horses, allowing them to cover vast distances quickly. Their self-sufficiency was legendary. They carried dried meat, or borts, which was made by slicing meat into thin strips, salting it, and drying it in the sun until it became hard and lightweight, making it easy to transport and long-lasting. They also carried fermented mare's milk, or kumis, and hunted game along the way, reducing their dependence on supply lines. This mobility and resourcefulness enabled them to sustain long campaigns far from home. The Mongols' efficient communication systems, adaptability in battle tactics, and superior horsemanship further enhanced their dominance on the battlefield. These combined advantages made the Mongol army one of the most formidable military forces in history. In the Mongols' first major westward campaign, their target was the rising power in Central Asia, the Quarezmian Empire. The Quarezmian Empire had vast territories, roughly encompassing present-day Iran, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Afghanistan. This empire was a dominant force in Central Asia, boasting strong military power and a prosperous economy, akin to a trade giant of the region. The story begins with Genghis Khan initially intending to establish peaceful trade relations with the Quarezmian Empire, hoping to exchange goods and make some money, ensuring a comfortable life for both sides. However, things did not go as planned. Genghis Khan sent a caravan of merchants to the Quarezmian Empire, thinking this business venture would be smooth. Unexpectedly, a Quarezmian governor not only failed to welcome these Mongol merchants, but also massacred them entirely. Upon learning of this, Genghis Khan was furious. He decided to lead 100,000 cavalry to teach the Quarezmian Empire a lesson, which also plunged Europe into a century-long nightmare. The Mongols were truly masters of psychological warfare. They would offer cities a chance to surrender peacefully in exchange for tribute. But if a city dared to resist, the Mongols would flatten it, sparing only skilled workers like artisans and doctors. It said they could kill 1 million people in a week, and such ruthless tactics spread fear far and wide, causing many cities to surrender without a fight. They weren't exactly gentle with their own people either. After a siege, they'd let their soldiers loot freely, which was a huge motivator for these single men who had ridden thousands of miles. Their leader would often say that the greatest pleasure in life is defeating those who once oppressed, bullied, despised, and humiliated you, especially if they're stronger. Then you get to take their wives and riches. It's basically sweet revenge with a side of treasure. The reason for the Mongols' first Western expedition was simple. We're here, so why not? Genghis Khan gave his generals, Subotai and Jebe, a 3-year mission: take 20,000 troops, raid west, and return when time's up. Mongol troops swept through Azerbaijan from Samarkand, crossed the Caucasus, and crushed the Alans and Cumans. The Cumans fled to Russia, begging the Grand Duke of Kiev for help. He led 80,000 Russians into the Battle of the Kalka River. Here's where the Mongols showed off their kite-flying archery. Shoot from a distance, pretend to retreat, lure the enemy in, then spring the trap. They'd switch to fresh horses, break enemy lines, surround them, and keep shooting. This hit-and-run, or dog-fighting, was so effective that Europeans dubbed it Parthian shooting. The Russians were so spooked they thought they'd angered the gods, calling the Mongols Whip of God. The battle left 9 out of 10 Russian soldiers dead, with 80,000 casualties in a few months, solidifying the Mongols' terrifying reputation. Do you know how terrifying the Mongols were? Their army scared the Europeans out of their wits. The Mongol horde rampaged across the west, burning and pillaging from modern-day Ukraine all the way to the Crimean Peninsula. At that pace, Kiev was practically their next stop. Talk about speed. They were practically moving at the speed of light. But because of Genghis Khan's 3-year agreement, Subutai had to take his troops back home, and on the way, they decided to educate the Volga Bulgars on the banks of the Volga River. But for the Europeans, the nightmare was just beginning. The most terrifying Second Western Campaign was about to start. So grab your popcorn. The real action is just getting started. The Europeans finally caught a break and started preparing for future defenses. Thus the First Western Campaign came to an end. How epic was this campaign? It was the longest cavalry raid in history. 20,000 Mongol horsemen covering 8,900 kilometers in 3 years without any reinforcements or navigation tools. What does that mean? It's like riding from the East Coast to the West Coast of the United States, which is 4,500 kilometers, and then back again. And they weren't on a sightseeing tour. They fought their way through. The Mongol reputation echoed through the Western world, prompting many nations, including the Holy Roman Empire, to send envoys to show their goodwill. Picture this. You wake up one morning and your city is flattened, everyone around you in sheer panic. Thank the Mongols for that. Their invasion left Europe in ruins, with entire cities razed and countless lives lost. The sheer terror they inspired led to a boom in fortifications and revamped military strategies across the continent. Genghis Khan's genius in strategy, lightning-fast mobility, and ruthless efficiency forged an empire that reshaped history. The Mongol cavalry's legacy? It's a testament to their unmatched war prowess. In short, they were the original unstoppable force, changing the world one gallop at a time. From terrorizing Europe to setting new military standards, the Mongols did it all with a style and ferocity that left a lasting impression.